Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J Dawg.
Mike, it's good to see you. We need to bring some entertainment today because the NFL Sunday yesterday did not deliver.
Whoa. What is happening here? I hear other sounds somewhere. Okay.
Who are you hearing?
I heard myself. All right. So what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just saying we need to entertain the people. You started it with some entertainment right there with a random audio drop. Listen, NFL Sunday yesterday was not good. We were led to believe the Cowboys Bills would be a great game. It wasn't. The Ravens Jags, it wasn't. The early window had two close games, and they all involved bad quarterbacks, and I didn't want to watch any of them play. Literally, it was Case Keenum, Ryan Tannehill, Joe Flacco, and Justin Fields, like in overtime situations. And like, where's college football at that point? I didn't even want to watch any of those guys through.
Jeremy, I was in Utah, Park City, skiing, occasionally watching shows here and there. Our mutual friend, you'll love this. I don't think you heard this yet, but our mutual friend got really, really excited about a Laporta first touchdown, and we had to leave the bar. It was a little too much excitement for the bar, and we had to leave. He went for a high five, missed the high five, fell into a chair, and we had to be escorted.
Wait a second. This is a lead story of the podcast. You were at a bar in Park City, Utah, probably very upscale, very bougie of you, a place to be.
Sure.
This is a mutual friend who's a Steelers fan, not even a Lions fan. But apparently he owns Sam Laporta in fantasy football somewhere.
Well, we were all sitting there before we finished skiing, and we're like, let's get some bets in. And we said, Sam Laporta, first touchdown, and Detroit wins. So this is like our excitement to watch the games. I don't really remember watching many of the games, but it was a long, long day. A lot of drinking. And I will say, Utah has weird rules. 5% maximum beers. You can't have 2 alcohol drinks at one time. A lot of rules, but
wait, you can't order 2 drinks at one time, like a shot and a beer, which is an LA staple for us. That's not allowed.
You can do a shot and beer, but you can't have like 2 tequila sodas at once, or they have to hold it while you take the shot. Very, very interesting. But you know what?
No, let's talk more about the beer percentage.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. So, are they making like all these Miller Lite, Bud Lights, like the same beer but less alcohol ABV than we're getting in the other 40?
Yeah. That's exactly what they're doing. I don't know what they're making, like Utah special beers.
I didn't know Utah had special beers. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't know all the rules. It's interesting. So I'm glad we went. It was a great time. No, Utah Park City was great. Great resort, awesome town. Just cool, super close, easy, convenient. Fly in 35 minutes later on the mountain.
Hang on, I got to call you out on something. We're going down an upscale vacation road here because last week we started the show and you're going on and on about Hawaii and the resort life and the beaches. We're literally a week later and now you're going on and on about skiing and Utah and Park City. What's the affluent lifestyle? What's this all about?
Well, Jeremy, I mean, I don't think a lot of people know on here, but I'm having a baby soon, and I'm trying to get the trips in. I'm trying to go and have all these trips.
We have not announced that to the Sports Hangover. Our numbers are going to go up here. People are going to join the live chat, congratulating you. This is big. All of our listeners are finding out for the first time.
I know. So yeah, I'm having a baby in April, so I'm making all the trips right now.
Your wife is.
Yeah. I'm here supporting the baby coming in April. Hopefully. So. That's what's happening. So yeah,
we're trips in. So let's answer one of the age-old questions while we're going down the bougie vacation lifestyle. In the winter, people want to get away. Do you want to get away to a resort or do you want to get away to skiing? What's the better winter trip?
Jeremy, I think they both have a place, and it just depends on your vibe. If you want that winter, if you live in Florida, Texas, California, you might want that winter vibe. Sometimes I wanted it. I wanted a little snow, a little cold, drinking a cold beer on a rooftop in the winter with a little snow on the ground. That's great. But on the other hand, if you love some warmth, you can go to Hawaii and get the warmth and get out of the snow. And that's also great. So I'd say both have their place. Both are awesome.
That doesn't answer the question, but thank you for trying. Back to mutual friend. So this was Saturday night. He gets kicked out of a Utah bar with that game. But my point stands. Sunday was really boring football, right?
Yeah, I was hungover after traveling, and I was pretty bored watching the games. It was kind of like, not that the games didn't matter, but there were a lot of ties, right? Weren't there a lot of ties during the day and like overtimes and Carolina playing Atlanta, which was not a thrilling game anybody wanted to watch.
Scott Hansen was trying. He's like, folks, we have 2 close games in the window. They might not be exciting teams, but back to Bryce Young in the rain with no one watching. That was a debacle in Carolina.
But yeah, I have some takes from the weekend if you want to go over some stuff.
Yeah, let's hear your take.
I have this one. So let's do a little bullshit or believe. Here we go. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe time. Bullshit or believe. So I saw this one thing from somebody on Instagram, and I really loved it. But before I do that, I'm going to read you this. Dak Prescott is now 6-13 straight up in his career on the road versus a over 500 team straight up. Since he was drafted, that's 114th of 116 QBs in money line profitability. And then the next question is, bullshit or believe, are the Cowboys contenders or pretenders? And I really like that. I will say they are pretenders, but I want to hear what you think.
All of our listeners knew what you were going to say before the outcome of the Bills-Cowboys game was even determined. You were ready to go on that. Of course, Dallas looked very soft in Buffalo. Like, they looked like a team that had never played outside in their lives. Like, it was the first time they were asked to go outside and play football, which is not a foreign concept to most teams. It is to the Cowboys because they are completely different at home and the road. And so I'm going to straddle the line like you straddled the vacation line. I'm going to say the Cowboys are contenders if they're getting a home game, and they are pretenders if they're getting a road game. And if they can somehow win the division and line up a couple home games, they might end up in the NFC Championship game, which they would lose in San Francisco. But if they don't win the division and the Eagles pull it out, the Cowboys start on the road, maybe it's the Saints or the Bucks, maybe you win that first one. They're not going any further because they look so soft in the elements, and January football, unless it's in Miami, which the Cowboys won't be there, you're going to be in the elements.
Yeah. It's a weird team, and you never feel confident with them. I never feel confident watching Dak play the game, and I think it's like we'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to get too far in the playoffs, but even Baker's playing pretty well. The Bucks are looking pretty good. Who knows what could happen in the playoffs, and that's what's great. Wild card, get in, but I don't know. We're recording tonight before Monday Night Football. I'm hoping the Seahawks beat Philly, but I don't think Philly even needs the game, right? They're like locked in, right? They're winning.
No, they do because they have 2 losses. The Cowboys have 3, and so the Eagles could end up with like the Cowboys record if they lose this game against Seattle, which our listeners know it happened in the past. I think it was Jalen Hurts versus Drew Lock in that game, Mike. The quarterback situation was weird on Monday Night Football.
Well, no. I think Gino's playing. No predictions here. Jeremy always tries to predict the games, and then
so people know behind the curtain. Confused. We record on Monday afternoons. The game's an hour away, but I know you're listening to it after it happens. So I try to be right in saying what happened in the past tense, and every once in a while I am, and every once in a while I say the Dolphins had a big win when they actually choked against the Titans, and I was wrong on the podcast because it happened after our show.
I have one of we didn't talk about Justin Herbert and all this stuff and the Chargers, but I did want to say there have been 57 different starting QBs this season. And that means there's a lot of injuries, weird injuries. And we watched that. I mean, that was a crazy Thursday night game. I arrived in Utah. We sat down at a bar. We watched the game, and I couldn't believe that the Raiders were up so much. Just because Justin Herbert wasn't there. I didn't think it was all because of him, and it is. And I might take back some of the things I said about Justin Herbert, but watching that Chargers team was terrible. And if it was all Justin Herbert keeping that team alive, I give him more props than anybody else in the world because the team looked like just a high school football team showed up to play the Raiders, which without a real head coach right now.
We saw an NFL team quit, and it wasn't on national TV. It was on national streaming on Prime Video, but they quit on streaming on Prime.
They did.
And it was something to watch. And Braden Staley had to lose his job. How many chances did that guy get? He should have lost his job after that clock management before the playoffs last year. Then he should have lost his job after the playoffs when they melted down against the Jaguars. Then he should have lost his job later in the offseason when Sean Payton was available and begging the Chargers to make a move so Sean Payton could live right over here in Manhattan Beach and play golf 3 days a week and still live in LA and coach the Chargers. And now the Chargers owner, who was so afraid to make this move, was embarrassed and demoralized on national streaming, and they deserve everything that they got from that debacle because they waited probably like 11 months too long to make that decision.
Yeah, they should have done it last year. So who knows? Belichick could be there next year. Somebody's going to be there. Somebody wants that job.
Like Bills Chargers exclusively on Peacock this weekend. We're very excited about that on Saturday night. And the teams that fire their head coach, we keep seeing it. They always seem to play well the next week. So look for the Chargers to cover. It's a big line. Opened at 13.5. It's already down to 12. Should come down to 10.
I'm not betting.
I'm betting Easton Stick.
Okay, good for you.
I have some BS or believes for you as well. The first one here, speaking of coaching changes, you mentioned the Falcons-Panthers and how unwatchable that was. Yep. Imagine losing to Bryce Young. Imagine losing to this Panthers franchise that's been so bad. Bullshit or believe, the Falcons need to move on from Arthur Smith as soon as the season's over.
Okay. Well, it might be two things. It might be Ritter. I don't know if Ritter is the guy. I don't know in what position they have in the draft, but they might want to go for a QB as well. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I don't know if it's coaching or is it QB play, right? So it's like maybe we saw Belichick when Tom Brady was there and we're like, oh, clearly it's both of them playing together. They're the best duo in the world. Then Tom Brady leaves and you're like, maybe Bill Belichick isn't that great. And then we see Stanley or whatever leave the Chargers and you're like, you see Justin Herbert like get injured and not being able to play. And then you're like, oh, it was clearly him keeping this team together. So I think it's Ritter. I don't know if it's the coach, and we'll see. I mean, the Falcons haven't been good in a while, so we'll see.
The people who drafted the quarterback, who run him out there every week, who don't give Bijan Robinson carries, who don't give Kyle Pitts targets, those people deserve criticism. And it's easy to say it's Ritter, but you can also look around to what's happening there. And the GM and the head coach need to go because you're wasting their fans' time. Like, you could literally be 8-7 and win that division. And they're like, no, we're not even that good. We're losing to the Panthers. That's how we are. Yet they're tied for the division lead, and that's a whole other story. Bad division. But I think he should be gone. One more for you. Also, same division. We saw Jameis Winston. This is a good one. He carried a briefcase into the Saints-Giants game. I know you were a Giants bettor on this, and you didn't know about the briefcase. You didn't know about this. But did you know Jameis Winston walked in to the Superdome with a very heavy briefcase. He walked in and he brought it into the locker room and he gave an incredible speech, opened the briefcase and said, there's nothing here, guys. There's nothing blocking us from greatness. And the Saints go out and play the best football game they've played all year to mess up your bet, to stay in contention. BS or believe, Jameis's empty briefcase contributed to the victory.
I love it. I love Jameis Winston. I love the enthusiasm from him. I think it's like he should be the coach of the team. Like, that's how good I love him on there. It's just like funny stuff he does. Like, no one even cares about him, but he's like still bringing all this stuff up. He's like the heart of the team. I just love it so much. I don't know why this man is not a starting quarterback in another team. Like, somebody could use him for sure. I love it so much. Someone
could definitely use him. I think he's the official pastor on the team, if not the official head coach. I just wish he got another chance. I wish James got a chance out there. Carr keeps getting chances, but we'll see.
Do you want to jump to Scandal City, or you want to do what?
Before we get to Scandal City, I want to tell you something about my day. It's Monday morning.
You keep going. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay, thanks. Mike is going to miss my thing here, but it is Monday morning, and this is real life. And I do not feel great on Monday mornings typically, transitioning from the weekend to the work week. You need something to help you. And Mike got me some Magic Mind. And I'm very excited to tell you guys about this because Magic Mind is a great way to start your Monday mornings, or really any morning. You need some more focus. You need some multitasking in your life. Mike, I'm telling people about Magic Mind, and it's so exciting. I found a solution for my Monday mornings, and this is it. I did a cup of coffee with Magic Mind. I felt like I was supercharged throughout the day. The focus, the energy, the ability to jump from task to task. I haven't always been able to do that with just a cup of coffee, and I'm very excited about it. The ingredients are clean, they're simple, there's matcha, there's some other things in here, just a little bit of caffeine. It's not all caffeine that gives you all this focus, and I recommend it on Monday mornings. I recommend it on any weekday morning. Mike, I know you've tried it recently too. I love it. It's available in Sprouts now for anyone in California to check it out, just to get a little checkout of Magic Mind. Tell me about your Magic Mind experience too.
J Dawg, I love Magic Mind so much. I've actually been using it for years, and I'm glad they reached out to us. Magic Mind is like just something that you want in the daytime when you're like, you need that little productivity boost. And that's what I use it for. I love it so much. It's just like, and it's easy too. You can mix it in with your matcha, can have it with your coffee. I love it. So, the code, go to magicmind.com.
Magicmind.co/The Sports Hangover. Join a community of go-getters just like me and Mike. You can be just like us with Magic Mind. You get 56% off your first subscription or 20% off your first one-time purchase. So 56%. That code only lasts a little bit here. So it's magicmind.co/sportshangover. Also available in Sprouts. I'm not kidding you. I did this today. It changed my Monday mornings. It's going to change every Monday morning for the rest of my life. And it's called Magic Mind.
Do you have some? I got something I wanted to do with J Dawg's take on this week.
Oh my gosh.
You wanted me to do it.
Please
you want me
go on one.
All right. Where? There it is.
J Dawg takes on.
Steal my thunder.
So I didn't want to steal your thunder, J Dawg, but okay. I did see this come up, and I kind of wanted to take on the NFL and the NFL gambling and the referees. I saw this article over the weekend, and it says the NFL refs have been approached about influencing games for gambling. And it's kind of crazy. Like the stories they're telling right now are like, we're always told our game officials, like we don't tell anybody where the hotels are and they're traveling around. They can't wear NFL branded gear. And they don't want something like that 2007 NBA drama with the refs. And I forgot his name, Tim something.
Tim Donaghy. Yeah. Yes. He was fixing games in the NBA, went to jail, I think.
Yeah. So it's not something we want. And I'm just wondering how the NFL is really handling it, because it is definitely something where the refs must feel pressure when they're out and about daily life. People know them probably personally, and there's a whole bunch of restrictions. The other restrictions are like they can't enter sports books. Their financials are like closely scrutinized as well by the NFL because they don't want any like weird money coming in or taking cash offers from somebody. So I don't know if I'm really taking on anything, but it is a weird world of gambling, and people are always trying to find ways and edges around this. And I'm not saying anybody's like doing anything, but the penalties have been outrageous, I think, for the last few weeks. A lot of penalties. And we talked about it last week with KC and that final play in the game, and he was offsides, and he was slightly offsides.
He was actually.
But I just think there is something that we should keep an eye on, because obviously something's going to happen at some point. Maybe we don't know about it now, but I'm sure in like 20 years, we'll find out like somebody was doing something with the referees.
Which is better if we find out in 20 years, because I don't want to find out right now, because that would really ruin my season. The Dolphins are playing well, doing well in fantasy, betting's okay. So it's like, I don't want to find out now. I'd almost rather find out in 20 years that in 2023, they were fixing games and made sure the Ravens and 49ers played the Super Bowl no matter what. I'd feel better about it long term. I'm also worried about it. I'm like, how are these refs making such bad calls? It seems like someone is influencing their decisions, because how else could you be this bad on your own?
I agree. And I don't know why people aren't like, some of these games, like I bet tonight on the Seahawks Philly game, I'm sure there's going to be outrageous amount of penalties, and they're always primetime games too. You're seeing it's like, why are there 15 penalties in this game?
I'm sure the ref is from Sonoma, Washington, like right down the road from the Seahawks game, and he's going to help the Seahawks out. I really don't understand it. One thing I know is all the best officials have gone to TV, and so we're missing out all of those. And so TV pays more money, and so now you think, well, gambling is going to pay a lot more money. The bettors would pay a lot more money than the NFL is paying these guys. Ooh. I think a lot of them are substitute teachers or contractors during the week, and they just fly in on Saturday and fly out. I'm very worried about this. I have no scandals to point to say this is actually happening. Maybe we can get our investigation team on it to look into this a little bit deeper. Yes. We have tons of resources like that, but it's also bothering me.
I also wanted to bring up how lucky are you that you didn't have to play in the fantasy playoffs this weekend, because my whole team got injured during the week, and hopefully they play next week. I was looking at all the stats. I'm hoping to make it to the finals, and I just want to let you know that in another league, I don't think anybody listens, but me and Tony, me and mutual friend, we are on the path to hopefully making it there. We are both agreeing to bench our players, not play, and split the money.
Well, you don't like that league. You think the commissioner is not a great commissioner. This is a long story. The listeners probably don't care, but it's a 2 QB league. You're against it, and you're going to leave the league anyway. So you might as well tank the championship. Well, if you both get there, it sounds like. So we're on a collision course in our fantasy league. Again, people don't care about this. They never care about other people's fantasy leagues, but that's why we're talking about it. But we're on a collision course, and Mike wants to split. Yeah. And I'm not a splitter. And so if we both win our semifinals, we're going to meet in the championship, and it's whoever wins is going to win, Mike.
Well, you'll come to an agreement after the weeks go by. Hopefully you want to split.
You teased this upcoming slate. It's going to be better than last week's slate. But what I'm very excited about is Christmas Day. And Christmas Day, the NFL has now scored another day on the calendar to say goodbye, loved ones, hello, TV, hello, football. They've done it with Thanksgiving, and they've done it beautifully. We often schedule our Thanksgiving dinners. Exactly. Black Friday is now a part of the NFL going forward
is.
every season. And hopefully we get better games than Dolphins Jets, and we'll make plans to not shop and watch them. Mike, Christmas Day, they're taking over. We have 3 games on Christmas Day. It's throughout the whole day. You know, this is big for me because I don't need to watch the NBA until January now. We're pushing back the official start of the NBA season to maybe MLK Day. And here's what I started thinking. I want to share this with you. This is a real thing. MLK Day is a holiday. They play a bunch of games. Every league needs to take advantage of holidays like the NFL has done with Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and now Christmas. How about this? College football is always on New Year's Day. I get it. So they can have that. The NBA, Martin Luther King Day. Start 2 games every hour, noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Do like that red zone thing like they had for NHL recently. Do it all day. Get people into it. Say, this is our unofficial start of the NBA season. If you're a football fan, come on in. You have the day off of work and watch red zone NBA every hour. Let me take it a step further. President's Day is like 6 weeks away from the NHL playoffs. That needs to be NHL Day in America. Everyone needs to stop what they're doing and watch hockey on President's Day. MLB, July 4th is in your season, guys, and you don't even capitalize on it. Can we move the home run derby, the all-star game, to July 4th? Make it a national baseball day. All the stars are out. Everyone's watching baseball. I like it. Schedule your barbecue, your parade around it. All these sports need to learn from the NFL. They're the best marketers. They take over sports the best. And holidays are the best time to do it because you can get everyone's attention on one thing.
I love it so much. All these holidays are underutilized, and sometimes like why nothing happens on 4th of July, right? There's like nothing on TV. Is there sometimes like
there's a hot dog eating contest? And it's like 9 in the morning here in California. And then what? You go outside, sure. But I have streaming data from Netflix that shows the 2 most watched streaming days of the year are New Year's Day and July 4th.
Well, because you're hungover on New Year's Day, and 4th of July, I guess you're just like lounging around waiting for the evening to do something.
Well, I think there's a lot of people who don't go to the beach and the pool. Like we like to do those things, but not everyone does.
That's true. Yeah, I guess they just like light off fireworks. Who knows? Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I was going to mention, because I was going to bring it up earlier, but the NFL, we didn't mention the expansion of the NFL. They're going to try to go to a few more places, and they're agreeing on, Brazil next year. And then they want to maybe do like France, or they want to do Australia. But a lot.
Wait, I didn't see Australia. How are they going to get
France
teams
and
to
Australia? They've also been mentioned as potential host nations for the future NFL games. In 2025, they want 8 scheduled for 2025, 8 international games. It's a lot of international games, and it's not an advantage to us because we always have to watch it at weird times. Like, I don't know how far Australia is, but I know it's at least 12-hour difference from us. And that is a hard thing to schedule. Like, you got to do early morning, early night. I don't know how you do it for East Coast, West Coast. No one's friendly to West Coast.
They have to do it at a time that we want to watch it here in America. What did the F1 race do? They came all the way to Vegas and put it at 1:30 in the morning because they wanted their fans in Europe to watch it. And it wasn't the middle of the night. It was only like 7:30 a.m. Their time. So you have to schedule around us. I don't know how you get teams to Australia in the middle of a season. Maybe it's like week 1 and you have a week of practice there and then you come back. France deserves them, but they might be rioting in the streets still in Paris. What's going on there?
No, I don't know. They're having the Olympics soon. I'm sure everything will be fine by the Olympics. Olympics are this summer, right?
If Gavin Newsom taught us anything, when there's an important event coming, you clean up the streets.
He cleaned up right away. Do you want to do what do we want to do? Do we want to do?
Let's do a little NBA news while you think about what we want to do next.
NBA news. Oh my God. I don't know if I have this drop anywhere.
Sure,
do we even have the NBA news drop somewhere? Oh, there it is.
NBA news.
I wanted to throw the NBA a bone because I pushed back the official start of NBA season a few weeks past Christmas Day. Never again, by the way. Like, if Christmas Day is on a Wednesday next year, which I think it is, I need NFL on Wednesday. I need NFL that day. Like, that's the new barometer for Christmas Day. It needs to be an NFL day.
Is it the only reason it's on that is because it is Sunday and then Monday? So they're just like, we're taking advantage of this?
They took advantage of Monday this year. Like, there's a triple header. There's games Monday at 1 p.m. That's obviously very different from normal, but only because it's Christmas Day. So I need them to take over Wednesday too. That'll be the true sign. Okay. So NBA, I want to give you a shout out here. I know some people like NBA in the month of December, so I want to get involved. And my NBA update is the Detroit Pistons are 2-24 and on pace for the worst record in NBA history.
And do we care now, or should we care like when they're like 2-52 next?
I mean, this 2-24 is pretty hard to do. It's like when you're betting and you try to lose and sometimes you win. Some people have done that recently. Some people 2-24. It's like sometimes you slop into a win, and they haven't slopped into too many of them.
I have not watched any basketball. I feel like I should be watching a little bit. I watched more hockey recently. I might be going to a game this Wednesday, maybe.
Wow.
If you want to go, we should go.
It's gonna be raining. We don't leave the house.
It's gonna be raining. Oh man. But yeah, it's like, do I really care right now? Like who's on the Pistons anyways? Like what's going on?
Clearly no one. By the way, the Spurs, as I was also checking the standings, the Spurs are 4-21, and they have the 7-6 guy, Wemby.
Yeah.
And so he's getting initiated in a losing culture here.
But I wonder if it's like, did they actually think he was going to be a LeBron like clone and better than LeBron and come in and like save the franchise? I don't think one guy can save it, but if it is a special guy like a Steph or a LeBron or somebody like that, maybe they can save it. But I don't think this is a guy that's going to do it. Honestly, I'm like worried watching him play. He's so skinny. That man needs to beef up. And I know he's tall. I know it's probably hard to keep on weight.
He's very tall.
He's really tall.
But you're right. He plays pretty skinny. I don't think anyone expected him to like change the world as one guy. LeBron already changed the NBA by saying you have to have a super team to make the playoffs, and you have to be surrounded by all-stars to win any games. And so it's unfair to expect Wemby to make a huge impact as one guy. All those Spurs from yesteryear are gone. It's only him.
But don't you think like after that hype, like it was the biggest hype, like even me and you were interested, like what's going on? This guy's getting drafted. Yeah. That those expectations are there to say, oh, this guy's going to change the NBA. And it's kind of like Zion, like when he came in the league, like, oh, he's the next big superstar. And maybe he is, but I don't feel like anything's really happened. He got overweight, he didn't play, and then he's back, and then he's kind of here.
What did Stephen A say recently? He was talking about the in-season tournament. Zion was involved, the Pelicans were involved, and he said something about the book is out, and that man will eat the table.
Yeah, that man eats the table. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
kind of mean. I mean, Zion's playing okay. I feel like we're past the food stuff with him.
All right, let's do Hangover Hotline. All right, we got a lot of comments last week on some of our, I wouldn't say even hot takes. I was talking about baseball, and I was saying like this will be the last biggest contract ever for baseball. And a lot of people didn't agree. We have one person that agreed, so I'm clearly just going to show that one first. This was the first one by Josh. He says, I've been saying this for years. Baseball is too slow for the modern Americans. Baseball is America's pastime, but football is America's sport. And what do you think? Well, okay, Jeremy's not happy about this one.
Is football the best one to compare it to baseball? When you talk about action, what do plays last? 8 seconds, 6 seconds on a run play. If it's an incompletion, maybe less. And then we sit for 40 seconds until the next play. Is that any different from baseball? The idea of comparing the two and saying football has so much more action, I'm not buying that.
Well, other people were on your side. People were saying I was discounting. So this is David. He was discounting. I'm discounting the global audience of MLB baseball. Globally, MLB baseball and baseball in general is far more watched than the NFL. Now, he didn't put any stats here. He didn't say anything that I don't disagree with, but I don't know if it's actually watched. Like, I know there's other countries that play it, but is it really like as big around the world? I'm referring to you, Jeremy. I have no idea about any of this.
It's huge in Asia. There's all these different leagues in Asia, and that's where so many of the best players are coming from, especially this offseason. Shohei's one of several who's going to get many millions from the Asian leagues, especially Japan and Korea. China is a huge country, and they love baseball there. Smaller countries, so many baseball players come from the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and Venezuela, another hotbed. I think the idea of saying it's a global audience is a little off. I don't think most of Europe is into baseball. I don't think Russia's into baseball. I don't think most of South America is into baseball. And that's a lot of continents that are not participating.
Baseball, not my best.
But they do have the highest paid athlete ever. And I don't know who's going to break that anytime soon.
Yeah, this is what this guy said. MLB makes the second most money in any professional sport, only behind the NFL. So it's like they make a ton of money, but they also,
you know why, right?
Why in baseball?
Yeah. Why do they make so much money?
Because there's less guys. Football, which may or may not be true.
I love that. Just stop there. Andrew, thank you for the comment. You're welcome to come on and debate us anytime because that's a great opener.
And he said it's not even if Flacco is legit or not the Browns have won with PJ Walker or DTR. It's their defense that matters. I disagree. I don't think their defense has been that good in the last few weeks. But Flacco did look good, and I'm apologizing. I'm out here saying, look, I was maybe wrong. I don't know if it's going to continue. I did go back and I, trolled a lot of the guys on the comments, and I commented personally. I said, well, good luck. Like, you're not making the playoffs. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knows I did reply to these comments. Robert, he also said, tell us, you know nothing about football, let alone quarterback play, without telling us you know nothing about football, let alone quarterback play.
Thank you, Robert. These people are doing the work for me. I can just sit
really
back and let it go.
So basically, people think I know nothing about football or quarterback play, and clearly these are Cleveland Brown fans that know nothing about real football because they've had like 75 different quarterbacks in the last 5 years. So
and it's a lot easier to be excited about Joe Flacco. If you're in Cleveland, if you're a Browns fan, Deshaun Watson is a black eye for your organization, and he sucked. It was like a double negative. But now Joe Flacco, he's wholesome. You used to hate him. He was on his mom's couch, and now he's winning you games somehow. I mean, he didn't look good. He's thrown a lot of picks, but he won that game. I'm going to say this to the Browns fans listening as you read their comments.
Yeah.
Mike is going to end up being right about this. At some point, Joe Flacco is going to crash and burn this franchise. Maybe it's in the playoff games. Maybe they get all the way there. Maybe that's enough for this Browns organization just to get there and be happy. But it's going to come crashing and burning, and it's either going to be at the end of the regular season or the playoffs.
I love it. Do you want to talk some bets? I know it's early. We got a lot of games this week, like every day, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Early leans on some stuff if you want to get into it.
Sure,
I got some stuff. Do you want to talk about the contest? How did you do last week in the super contest?
I was 1-4, but some might be saying I was trying to lose games to get the bottom, the Booby Award, and some would be saying I haven't started trying yet, and I just went 1-4 on my own. So you weren't much better, I know.
Well, hold on. I'm 2-2 right now. I could be 3-2, which is a winning week.
Yeah, but who are you on tonight?
Seattle.
And who's their quarterback?
It's most likely Gino. Quick, early leans. I like Detroit -3 at Minnesota. This line does not make any sense to me. I do not know what's happening. Is Nick Mullins really the guy that's going to lead Minnesota and continue? No, right?
He's not. Well, Detroit's looked really bad for several weeks in a row until that big win on Saturday night when a mutual friend got escorted out of the bar, it sounds like.
Yes. I wish I had photos, but I was in the bathroom when this happened, and I just heard and then a crumble into a chair, and then I walked out, and this man is just tied into a chair, like falling into a bar stool. So, great.
Sounds like a normal Saturday.
My next game, I like Miami -1.5 at Dallas. I don't believe in Dallas at all. I don't think they're a good team. As you saw at the top of the show, I don't believe in Dak. I don't believe in their defense. Miami's good. And 1.5 seems like a free game to play, but is something going on that I'm missing? Are they like sitting?
Well, that game's in Miami. You said it's at Dallas. That game is in Miami.
Sorry, at Miami, yeah.
This week. Neither team plays well against winning teams. Neither team plays well on the road.
Correct.
Dolphins are at home, but both teams are winning teams. So something has to give. Tyreek will be back out there. I think they truly rested Tyreek against the Jets because they knew they'd win without him, and they have a huge slate. Mike, the Dolphins finished with the Cowboys, Ravens, Bills. It doesn't get tougher than that.
That's tough. Mm-hmm. And next week we have the MVP Bowl. We have Ravens and San Francisco, which is my next game. But that's I think to determine who the real MVP is right here. Because
between Lamar Jackson and Christian McCaffrey?
My boy Brock is going to win it because I got a lot of money on it. I need Brock to win this MVP here.
Well, I'm sorry that this didn't come up in the first 34 minutes of the show. And clearly we'll save it for the future. But I think it's BS. When we're talking about BS or believe, I think it's BS that Brock Purdy is leading the MVP discussion. You can play a J Dawg Takes On. Let me do a quick 30 seconds.
Yeah, go for it. Go. All right.
J Dawg Takes On.
Brock Purdy should not be the MVP. Did anyone watch this guy play without his star playmakers in Jacksonville or anywhere else recently? When Debo's not there, when Trent Williams with the boombox isn't there, when Christian McCaffrey's not there, Brock Purdy is average. His name is PJ Walker without those guys. You can't surround him with all the stars and then Purdy plays and put him on the MVP list. Mike, I know you have a long-term bet on him. I know he's number one on the MVP board right now. It makes me mad. If you take Christian McCaffrey off the Niners, they're a much different team than if you take Brock Purdy off the Niners, which they did, and Sam Darnold entered that game, completed a pass, and then Brock got nervous and ran back out there because he thought he might lose his job. They are a different team without Christian McCaffrey. They are the same team without Sam Darnold. That's what the MVP is about, and it makes me mad. Makes me mad that this man is going to win it.
This man's going to win it. Without a doubt, he's going to win it, and his stats back it up. So that I'm just going to leave it there, and we'll see. If he loses to Baltimore, which I don't think he is, That's why I'm going to take a -5.5. Then we can talk next week.
Drop your comments below. Who should be the Niners MVP of their own team? Is it Purdy or McCaffrey? Before you look throughout the league, just say on your own team who's more valuable.
Hold on. Can I say this? Wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo in the same scenario and could not do anything with the team?
Anything. They brought him to a Super Bowl, something Brock Purdy's never done.
Well, Brock Purdy's about to. And he almost did last year if he didn't break his arm. All right, San Francisco. I have San Francisco -5.5. I think they're a better team. Hopefully the line drops a little bit, but I like them. I like them this week. And then my last game, I like Seattle.
That's a great Christmas night game. We talked about Christmas Day. That's Christmas night. People open their presents. They drank and ate all day. Then they get Ravens Niners, which is the Super Bowl preview based on the logos and the color. It's so perfect.
I'm taking Seattle -2.5 against Tennessee. I just think Seattle is like not a great team, but I feel like they're good enough. And I don't think Tennessee is that great. Even though I think they beat this week. Who beat Houston, right? Yeah.
Oh, Houston came back and won.
Houston came back. Yeah. Oh, Houston came back and won. Yeah,
they did. Tennessee lost. They beat the Dolphins last week. That was bad.
Yeah. So I still like Seattle. I think they're they're consistent. You know what you can get out of them. I don't know what I'm always going to get out of Tennessee. So last week I was wrong on all my takes. A lot of the games did not work out the way I wanted to. But,
by the way, you do a show throughout the week with another betting expert, our rich friend, and he's no better than me in our little contest. So some expert he is.
Yeah, just follow my lead or fade our picks because you can definitely make some money that way. So we're gonna do a show Wednesday. We're gonna preview all the games. You can listen to that on Wednesday. Hopefully we win some money. It's Christmas, it'd be a great Christmas present. And I'm gonna put together like a nice parlay because on Saturday I had the best parlay. It was just like, oh, this is easy. Laporta first touchdown, Detroit wins. Like, get the money. And our mutual friend loved it too. So he won a lot of money.
Be careful celebrating first touchdowns when you guys go out this weekend. You could be kicked out of bars.
Check us out, The Sports Hangover. Go to youtube.com/Sports Hangover. Go subscribe there. Go like our videos. Go comment. We're there. We're also on TikTok and Instagram. Good show, Joe. See you.